On BBC Two now, the programme that really does speak for itself.
Good evening, and as you may have read recently, the BBC is now broadcasting every programme in NICAM digital stereo, so as a special treat we'll be playing you Dark Side of the Moon later in the show. In the news this week, at a school in Birmingham, there's disaster at lunchtime for Class 4C after a stranger breaks into the school canteen. Following this week's Semtex contamination scandal, Michael Howard introduces a new hygiene procedure for lab technicians. And in Kettering, residents near a newly opened magnet factory are advised not to wear steel toe caps. On Ian Hislop's team is a comedian who's also a qualified accountant, so he'll be pleased to know that we've already sent 25% of his fee to the Inland Revenue. And Fred MacAulay. And with Eddie Izzard tonight, the PR man whom David Mellor described as the sleazeball of all sleazeballs, which coming from David Mellor was probably meant as a compliment, Max Clifford. So let's run round one up the flagpole and see who vomits. As usual, 4 snippets of film. What's the news content within? Ian and Fred, your final reminder.
Gas, helpfully, people digging it up. That's Cedric Brown. Oh, no, sorry, that is...
Did you invite me back to do my pig noise?
Well, we didn't, but now you're here.
No.
Right, okay.
How did you segue into that?
Oh, sorry, Eddie, the last time I was on the show, I made a noise like a pig.
All right.
Everyone remembers it, Fred?
Yes. Big welcome back from the audience there.
Well, just remind us, run it past us again.
All right.
There was a pig there.
Yeah.
There was a
and
pig
for a very
there.
good reason.
Right.
Because that pig is called Cedric.
And who was it a reference to?
It's a reference to Cedric Brown, who's, what is he, one of the chief executives, who gives himself very large pay rises most Mondays. But that's not the story. This is, there's a regulator of British Gas, amazingly. There is this woman, Claire Spottiswoode, and she's told British Gas to cut the average bill by 30 quid.
I bought The Guardian, and it says it's going to be £50 cheaper, so it
Really?
pays to read The Guardian. Angus, can I correct you, just in case there's anybody watching from the Institute of Chartered Accountants? I didn't pass my exams.
You could be Prime Minister.
Yes,
Why did you fail your exams? Was it because
It wasn't so much why, it was how.
I failed mine as well?
Did you? Oh,
But I didn't take any. I was doing a degree in accounting, and I thought, no. And
It's amazing. Paul Merton was in pensions, you two in accountancy. What a wacky world comedy is.
it is the directive from Ofgas regulator Claire Spottiswoode, is in fact how she pronounced it.
Spotswood?
Yeah,
not Spottiswoode.
No.
Right.
It
Like
is that-
Spot is the dog. It's Spot the dog, obviously.
Yes, it's a bit similar to that, only completely different. Claire Spottiswoode, that British Gas must reduce their bill by 10%. The average family struggling with its bills will now be a whole £1 a week better off, which will probably be excellent news for Camelot. Since Cedric Brown's appointment as chief executive, the value of gas shares has done this. In the same period, Cedric Brown's salary has done this. And since his resignation, gas customers have done this. Eddie and Max, your verdict on this?
It's OJ coming in for the Richard and Judy trial, and in the yellow strip.
Was that you at the airport, Max?
Yes, yes.
Yeah, you take your research serious,
I
don't
do,
you?
very thorough.
I just read the papers.
So what was the yellow thing?
That was a mark where he was supposed to stop, so that all the photographers and paparazzi gathered there would get the maximum picture of him.
Did you put that mark down?
No, it just said I did. Nothing to do with me, but of course, what's that got to do with anything?
God, paper's making it up again.
Well, so I believe, yeah.
So what made you choose... did you choose Richard and Judy for him, or was he a big fan of theirs?
No, Granada Television. Granada Television approached him.
Right. And is it true, then, that you got £1 for appearing on Richard and Judy?
Plus £150,000 expenses, yes.
150 grand, that's quite good, really, isn't it?
Yeah, it would be if it was true, but of course it isn't.
Oh, isn't it?
No, I just made it up.
Oh, I see.
But that's what you expect of me, isn't it?
Yes.
Well, I believe everything you say, usually, Max.
Glad to hear
David Mello has a Chelsea strip in bed. Yeah, of course he does.
it. I think if you look like David Mellor, you've got to wear anything you can to distract from the face, haven't you?
I find myself agreeing with you.
So is it true that he's moving to the UK, or was looking for houses?
No, it's
Oh,
another
right.
one of my stories.
Right.
It's no truth.
Was it actually OJ, or...?
No, but it was a very good lookalike.
Well, he was never going to move to Surrey.
No. He actually said that this would be a nice place to live, and because there's plenty of journalists around willing to spend fortune on any kind of stories, we gave them that as an exclusive.
How much did they pay for
Fortunes.
the Surrey story?
Fortune. A lot more than the Richard and Judy paid for the interview.
150 grand. House hunting story. I'm looking.
Yes, I
What
see.
did they
So
make of him at the
completely
Oxford Union?
Well, he got a standing ovation as he left. He actually did pretty well.
Finest young minds.
Yeah, exactly, as you would expect. But
Well, you went there, Ian, for God's sake.
Yeah. So did
did
you,
I.
Angus.
It is the appearance of O.J. Simpson on the brand new Richard and Judy show. O.J.'s appearance marked Richard and Judy's move from daytime television, and he was, according to the couple, the most controversial person we've ever interviewed, the previous record holder being Kenneth Kendall. Interestingly, O.J. has spoken at the Oxford Union, as has Ian Hislop. He's appeared on Richard and Judy's show, as has Ian Hislop, and he's been successful in a court of law.
Thank you.
Pleasure. O.J.'s appearances in this country have been orchestrated by Max Clifford, who said he hasn't entirely acted on my advice, which might explain O.J.'s rather controversial appearance next week on Confessions.
He said he was going to sue some of the tabloids.
the American tabloids, yeah, that's right.
Oh, not the British tabloids.
Not yet, no.
Right.
Plenty of time, though. Plenty
Just
of
checking.
time.
Any magazines mentioned or anything?
Funny you should say that. But I explained the kind of financial backing you had, and it said it wasn't worthwhile.
Ian and Fred, more revelations for you?
Runcie?
Or a good look-alike?
Oh, there's Max at the back again.
What on earth is that?
Is this the new choir boys outfit? The Church of England boys. Runcie has admitted, I think, that he did something to gay clergymen.
I think you might like to specify precisely what.
Ex-Archbishop Runcie said he did ordain homosexuals, priests,
Knowingly.
knowingly, but not practicing ones. Just ones who are really good at it.
How good do they
And what was the biblical justification for the church's attitude towards gays, do you know?
Well, it's in Leviticus.
Is correct. Traditionalists in the church point to Leviticus, which condemns any man who lies with a man. But then it also states, when a woman has her regular flow of blood, she must take 2 doves or pigeons and burn them. So that's where they got the idea of wings from, obviously. And finally, Eddie and Max, a surprise package for you.
City Link. Milk.
says literally as it is.
Standing knife and a screwdriver in a box. And this is very obviously. It's very easy, this one. This one's so simple, we're not even going to bother to answer it. It's obviously some sort of truck building warehouse, men built as brick things, and the bit at the end is just self-explanatory. So it doesn't really need any help.
Isn't the bit at the end OJ being interviewed by two cardboard boxes? Giving him a really tough time.
This is the, isn't it? This is the guy who was going to rob the warehouse or whatever, and they got him to putting him into a box, but they didn't come and post him, so he was meant to get out of his box and rob wherever he was supposed to rob or something like that.
There are subtitles on CFAX.
Yes. Something along those lines?
It is something along those lines, yes. Yeah, do you remember the name of the company?
City Line.
Was it the
I say
gas
remember,
board?
you could have read
no,
it.
someone else has got it.
City Link Cleaners.
City Link Cleaners, even better. Take them
Drivers, storage, haulage.
Delivery service.
Deliveries.
Yeah.
Dragging things. But what do you use a truck for? Use your imagination.
Truckers. Was it City Link?
It was City Link.
City Link.
Service.
Yes.
We knew all the time. I was just padding it out.
And why did he pick them in particular?
Oh, because of the colour.
He used to work for them. This is the story of two Wallies, John and his son Stephen Wally, who tried to burgle a Stoke parcel office by cunningly disguising John as a parcel. The plot backfired when, instead of being sent to Stoke overnight, he was kept in a holding warehouse in Birmingham over the weekend. The comprehensive survival kit inside Wally's parcel consisted of a bottle of milk, a Mars bar and a roll of red carpet, thus equipping him to cope with the onset of thirst, hunger and an unexpected royal visit. John Wally emerged at 2:30 on the Saturday afternoon after spending 20 hours inside the parcel, having finally got bored of popping all the polythene bubble wrap. Which male bonding wraps up this opening round, and at this stage the score resembles a Yorkshire reservoir in that there's absolutely nothing in it, with both teams on 4. Round 2 has traditionally been where we hold our noses and wade into the quagmire of the tabloids. This week, by way of contrast, we hold our noses and wade into the quagmire of public relations. The following montage contains a number of exercises in PR that helped grateful news editors pad out their bulletins. All the teams have to do is identify the campaigns and guess which ones failed in their bid to make the national news. So, spot the flops.
Brent Spa.
Brent Spa, yeah.
Abseiling. It's the toilet.
Thinking,
Oh dear.
had he just been ordained?
No, Fred. Some cryptic clues. What does it all boil down to?
Well, Brent Spa sort of did work, because lots of people were sort of saying, hey, Charles shouldn't do this, but then there was a dilemma thing, a discrepancy, a word beginning with D, over...
Now that was so much of a hit, the news people had to apologise, because they just got sent videos by Greenpeace and they put them straight on as though they were reporting. And Greenpeace's figures were wrong.
No, there were two women and a child and a man all waving at the camera.
Right.
And I'd never seen them before in my life.
What were they doing whilst they were waving?
National Breathing Week.
They wanted to be members of the royal
today.
family.
It's getting close. National Smile Week.
Ah,
That's actually what it is this week.
Is it?
oh, well, that's...
Is it really?
And
No one in the audience.
the fact that you don't know about it means that it's failed abysmally, which
Yes.
is a right answer. Yes, you nominated one.
The
then.
Puffins,
You
they were a
managed to-
big success
Right.
for Bio-Rodin Week.
Yes.
Hardly anyone did.
No, it was
campaign.
bloke in it was toilet going to engage, and then some bloke from America pulling his face back in a kind of, ooh, I've gone to the loo type of way.
Or not.
Or not. Someone that meant Constipation Week.
Is the right answer.
Yeah.
It was actually National Constipation Day, but maybe it held over to a week. The answer is that of all the stories created by PR companies, the ones which abjectly failed to make the national news bulletins were National Smile Week and National Constipation Day. The successful campaigns were the demonstration against McVitie's biscuits by human puffins, the Greenpeace occupation of the Brent Spar oil rig...
What were they demonstrating about? You've just said it was successful. What's wrong with McVitie's biscuits?
I think it was the use of fish oil.
Thank you. Nice to know he knows something.
And a church service to celebrate the centenary of the car. In fact, the church service hit the headlines for rather different reasons than the promoters hoped. At the risk of entering another round, any ideas what happened next?
I know what happened here. A woman came and took her clothes off. This is a much more interesting story. She wasn't one of yours, was she?
No.
One of your what?
One of your slappers who turn up in the papers occasionally.
You have to be sad to know what happens after that.
A woman in a fur coat
Yeah.
came in, took off the fur coat, she was naked underneath,
You're sad.
and on her body was written, "I object to the car. I think the internal combustion engine is, a disaster, hasn't been good for the country." It's written right the way round. And that is what happened. Go on, run the film.
Okay, let's have a look.
Yes! No, back a bit.
Can't say anything about a combustion engine, I must say. But,
Bad punctuation, though. That should only have been a comma. Not a full stop.
yes, the service organised by the Society of Motor Manufacturers was interrupted by Angel Kayunti, an anti-car protester who stripped naked and lurched towards the car parked at the altar. The vicar said that he'd never seen anything like it. An 1897 Daimler with the original walnut dashboard. National Constipation Day was on 16th of April, and as no one has heard of it, can probably be regarded as a PR flop. According to one of the organisers at the time, we have had terrible difficulty getting any celebrities involved. Did they approach any of your
I heard
clients?
that they were after you.
Oh, thank you.
Brown suit, you see.
Which public outbursts mark the end of this middling round, and the development is that, Eddie and Max are now sitting tight on 7, whilst Ian and Fred have opened the floodgates with 8. The odd one out round follows the introduction to it, which that was, so here it is. Eddie, you're for, in ascending order of charisma, Claire Short, Tony Blair, Julius Caesar, and a carpet mite.
Invaded Britain, carpet mites invaded Britain, and... oh, I know. Didn't they all join in National Constipation Week? Or something else, or they're all like helicopters, or one of them eats spinach but the other 3 don't, and it's going to be something obscure and stupid like that, isn't it? One of them's made out of jam.
Like to nominate one to be made out of jam?
Yes, I don't know. The carpet mite's made out of jam.
Well, I'm going
Fred, don't you know anything?
The carpet mite, Tony Blair mite, Claire Short mite, and Caesar did.
Caesar.
I'm going to have to actually give one to
They
Eddie.
all conquered Britain, apart from the carpet mite.
It's nowhere near, Ian. It's a pathetic guess. Even further away than the one that you...
Sorry, I've been recruited by National Nose Blowing. They wanted someone to blow their nose on television to prove that, it's not embarrassing, it's not sad,
And it's not pleasant.
So what's the answer?
I'm going to tell you. I'm going to have to actually give you 1 point because you got the right odd one out, which is the carpet mite, even though you did say it was because it was made of jam. The answer is that they have all received carpets as gifts, apart from the carpet mite. Tony Blair was given a rug by the President of Pakistan, which featured ancient symbols and Islamic myths painstakingly woven into the fabric, which was a bit embarrassing because he just bought one exactly the same from IKEA. Cleopatra, Queen of Egypt, hid inside a carpet that was then presented to Julius Caesar as a gift. As a result, when he unrolled it, she fell out, which caused some considerable injury as he'd already put down the spiky gripper rods. Max, your ancient relics are Fred Perry, Pitt the Elder, Pitt the Younger, and Carol Thatcher.
Rackets?
I'm sorry?
Rackets?
Could it be books?
Books.
Yeah.
You might have to explain a little bit more than that.
Well, I want that look in your eye. Oh, books. Well, I'm not going to go in and expound my theory on books.
Right.
Because it's an exciting theory, and I don't know if everyone's ready for it. Are we? Okay, Fred Berry, his own sportswear. Pitt the Younger had his own sportswear too. Pitt the Younger, because he liked to slap his hand on big pink cakes.
It's not actually the right answer, although an intelligent guess. The answer is that all their fathers were MPs, except author and journalist Carol Thatcher. Pitt the Younger's father was MP Pitt the Elder, whose father in turn was MP Pitt the Even Elder, who was himself son of Pitt the Ridiculously Old, or Pitt the Dead, as he later became known. Fred, your cultural icons are Rover cars, George I, Adolf Hitler, and Doc Martin.
So it's definitely Adolf Hitler.
Yes, it wasn't his brother Brian, no.
Rover cars are part of the BMW group, so have been kind of sold to Germany. And George I, was it? Mm-hmm. Was royal family, so he was probably German. Doc Martin, now, whether he was German or not, he was a crap doctor. I think he was a sort of physicist or something like that, and they sent him off to make a nuclear bomb, and he came back with bouncy shoes. And people went to him and said, I've got a terribly sore throat, and he said, have you tried them in brown? I'm going to say that Adolf is the odd one out, because I seem to remember from my early chartered accountancy exams that he was Austrian, perhaps.
Is irritatingly the perfectly right answer. They are all German, except for Adolf Hitler, who was born in the Austrian town of Braunau am Inn. The Doc Marten boot was devised in Germany in the 1950s by Dr. Klaus Mertens, who got the idea after kicking the shit out of Dr. Scholl. And finally, in this round, Ian, your prominent figures are the Earl of Sandwich, Pamela Anderson, Earl Grey, and it's that man again.
These are people with eponymous foodstuffs. The Earl of Sandwich invented the sandwich. Earl Grey invented a tea called Lapsang Souchong. Pamela Anderson invented a burger, I was reading in the Star.
Yeah, it's almost right, but I think they had things named after them as opposed to invent them. She didn't invent the burger. She had a Coke bottle named after her, the Pammy. It's a shape. It's is it the Virgin Coke bottle, I think, or one of them?
Yeah.
The bendy one, and the sandwich is named after him, and the Earl Grey is named after him, and the OJ is not named after him. So it's a named after thing. So nearly right, but not.
I've just been patronised by a failed accountant.
Well, you're both nearly right, I would say.
Patronised by Angus.
The answer is that they've all had a drink named after them, apart from the Earl of Sandwich, who had a snack named after him, which was sandwich, by the way. For those of you who haven't worked
hold
it
on.
out.
They didn't get the orange juice and name it after OJ, did they? He just happens to have the same...
No, well, that's not the drink we're referring to.
No, there's a juice named after him.
Oh, really?
You tell him, Max. Oh, you just have, haven't you? Sorry. As one of his many post-trial spin-offs, O.J. Simpson has launched his own drink, Justice Juice. It's the same as any other orange drink, apart from the opening instructions on the carton, which say, cut here, then deny it. The Earl of Sandwich invented the sandwich as a tasty snack to keep him going whilst he was playing cards with his friends, Lord Hula Hoop and the Duke of Twiglet. All of which unsavoury nibbles bring us to the end of this penultimate course, and with one round left, I have to tell you that Eddie and Max have a frugal 8, whereas Ian and Fred are on a sumptuous 11. Before the final scores, let's pause briefly for the Missing Words round. This week's guest publication, which may be home to all or fewer of the headlines, is the unputdownable Sandwich and Snack News, the official journal of the British Sandwich Association. So watch out for all those unofficial bootleg editions. So, Macbeth set for what?
Jelly.
Macbeth set for Thane of Glamis. It's very old news cutting.
Yes. Thank
Thane
you.
of Cawdor, slightly older.
It's set for karaoke murder. Shakespearean plays are to take the place of songs in karaoke pubs. Apparently. Next,
No.
who or what meet face to face?
The Earl of Sandwich and
His mother.
the Duke of Wellington.
Well, I suppose I'm going to have to give it to you because it's got a sandwich in it. Sandwich makers is actually the right answer. Bob Heaton and Paul Wise, to be precise, to discuss sandwich manufacturing technology. They're going to meet face to face.
I wish I was there.
Does sound riveting, doesn't it? Next, Barry Sheen made me what sandwich?
Made me jam sandwich.
A sex sandwich.
It is, yes, made me into a sex sandwich.
How
is
do
the right
they
answer.
work, Max? Do you have to have anyone in the middle?
No, not necessarily. No, in fact, with most of the Conservatives, you just need 2 men.
You haven't done any big ones with men.
I've never done any ones with men, no. It's
Just
very
checking.
nice of you to recommend it, but it's not for me, I'm afraid. To each his own, and good luck to those that sail in that particular camp, but not for me, I'm afraid.
Well, I would like to fancy men, but unfortunately I don't.
Next, Clinton's what is seen on video?
Lunchbox. From Sandwich and Snack News.
Testimony.
His evidence is the right answer. His testimony in a Whitewater trial. And finally, who or what strips off for TV?
Is it Fred MacAulay?
No, it isn't. No.
Dame Shirley Porter.
No.
It's a lovely image, Ian, thank you. No, this actually comes from the Sandwich and Snack News, and it is granary bread stripped off. Which rash predictions lead us conveniently to the final tally of this evening's bout. And the grave news is that this week's floppy disks are Eddie and Max with 11, and this week's Rams are Ian and Fred with 15. So, a drum roll for our winners, an egg roll for our losers, and I leave you with news that there are suspicions that Michael Portillo may be a distant relative of Max Bygraves. Before taking a short vacation in Los Angeles, the Prime Minister seeks advice on his itinerary. And a car wash firm in Marlow denies that there's a problem with the extra hot setting. Good night.